President of the United States has committed. But when we start talking about things that look like evidence, they want to act like they blind. They don't know what this is. These are our national secrets. Looks like in the shitter to me. This looks like more evidence of our national secrets, say on a stage at Mar-a-Lago.
Hey folks, I'm Tennessee Brando here with the MeidasTouch Network. How many times a day do you hear the phrase, the Biden crime family? And how many times a day do you hear about Hunter Biden and his laptop? And how many times does someone come at you telling you that Joe Biden is a criminal and they have all the proof, they have all the evidence, they have all the whistleblowers, and that if we would just open our eyes to it, if we would just take a look at it over here and take a deep look, we would see all the crime and all the corruption. And every time we ask them to provide us with one single shred of evidence, they come at us with an empty sack. How many times does that happen? Well, I'll tell you what, it's not just us getting trolled by people in the comment section. It's also our elected officials getting trolled every single day. I've got a clip here of AOC where she's asking, are there any witnesses here to any of these high crimes or misdemeanors? And watch what happens.
And any serious impeachment investigation or inquiry relies on firsthand sworn testimony of witnesses to high crimes or misdemeanors. Today, the Republican majority has called in 3 witnesses to advance their case. Mr. Turley, I have a simple question for you. In your testimony today, are you presenting any firsthand witness account of crimes committed by the President of the United States?
No, I'm not.
No, you are not. Ms. O'Connor, you are the second Republican witness here today. Have you, in your testimony, presented any firsthand witness account of crimes committed by the President of the United States?
I have not.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Dubinsky, as the third and final Republican witness in this hearing, have you, in your testimony, presented any firsthand witness account of crimes committed by the President of the United States?
I have not.
And Professor Gerhardt, given that you are the minority witness, I assume the same, correct?
I'm not a fact witness, correct.
Thank you. Are there any key material fact witnesses here today?
No, ma'am.
None. And so we are wasting our time. When we talk about a threshold of an impeachment inquiry, was there a House floor vote that had a majority of members of Congress that opened an impeachment inquiry into President Clinton?
There was.
There was. Was there a full House floor vote opening an impeachment inquiry into President Trump?
In 2019.
Is there one here for this one?
Not for this one.
There is not one here for this one. This is an embarrassment. An embarrassment to the time and people of this country.
So there you go, folks. They had absolutely nothing. But this wasn't some troll in our comment section. This wasn't the dude you went to high school with who thinks he's smart after watching one half-baked YouTube video. These were people who were on the main stage, sitting in front of our elected officials with the opportunity to provide the evidence against Joe Biden, and they had to say to a live microphone, we got nothing. But yet, their followers will continue to say, oh, but they weren't allowed to talk. Oh, but they weren't allowed to say these things because Donald Trump has done such a great job brainwashing the flock into believing that all the evidence that they have about Joe Biden and against Joe Biden is over here being held back by the evil leftist Democrats who's all being weaponized against him. That's why it's so hard for us to get through to these kind of people because they have this built-in defense system already in place. If you show that clip to a conspiracy theorist, they're going to say, well, they couldn't say. They were afraid to say. They couldn't say. That's the defense system they already have built in. But I'm loving seeing them sitting there saying, nope, we got nothing. And that's what we need to keep showing people every day. They may not accept it at first, but eventually if we keep reminding them there's nothing here, meanwhile, you're wasting our time. Meanwhile, a government shutdown is looming that is going to affect a whole bunch of people. You know, we hear them all day talk about how they're tired of working all day for bullshit pay. Well, your government's about to shut down, and meanwhile, you've got this bogus Biden impeachment inquiry that they have absolutely no evidence for. But if you think that AOC clip was dynamite, I'm going to show you one that's going to blow your mind. Jasmine Crockett just steps up and absolutely drops the mic, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. Check this out.
President of the United States has committed. But when we start talking about things that look like evidence, they want to act like they blind. They don't know what this is. These are our national secrets. Looks like in the shitter to me. This looks like more evidence of our national secrets, say on a stage at Mar-a-Lago. When we're talking about somebody that's committed high crimes, it's at least indictments. Let's say 32 counts related to unauthorized retention of national security secrets, 7 counts related to obstructing the investigation, 3 false statements, 1 count of conspiracy to defraud the United States, falsifying business records, conspiracy to defraud the United States, 2 counts related to efforts to obstruct the vote certification proceedings, 1 count of conspiracy to violate civil rights, 23 counts related to forgery or false document statements, 8 counts related to soliciting, and I could go on because he's got 91 counts pending right now. But I will tell you what the president has been guilty of. He has unfortunately been guilty of loving his child unconditionally, and that is the only evidence that they have brought forward. And honestly, I hope and pray that my parents love me half as much as he loves his child. Until they find some evidence, we need to get back to the people's work, which means keeping this government open so that people don't go hungry in the streets of the United States. And I will yield.
Now that right there is the kind of fire and that right there is the kind of drive that we need more of in the Democratic Party because, folks, we have the evidence. We have the evidence against Trump, and we're holding Donald Trump accountable. They have absolutely nothing on Joe Biden, and yet they continue to tell us they have it. Well, until they can present it, they just really need to sit down and let the grown-ups of the room get back to doing the job at hand. But let's talk a minute about Jasmine Crockett. That is the type of person that we need to be showcasing more. That's the type of person that needs to get the microphone more often, because we can always go to Lauren Boebert for clickbait. We can always go to Lauren Boebert, and she's always going to be entertaining us, okay? Mainstream news sources knows they can play Lauren Boebert all night long, and people is going to tune in to watch it. But why they won't show you, why the mainstream sources won't show you people like Jasmine Crockett, is because she's dropping these truth bombs that completely debunks the narrative. And when it completely debunks the narrative, they have a harder time holding their stories together when they're over here trying to focus on Donald Trump's polls. Oh, he's surging in the polls. How did this happen? Oh, he flew in a new jet. Let's take a look at this new jet. Oh, let's take a look at this comment he made. And they try to break these things down and analyze them. Meanwhile, you've got people on our side of the fence who are dropping the truth, who are dropping actual evidence, who are making a difference, and who are fighting for the working class people. The other side's over here, yeah, they're cranking up some new songs. They're saying they're for the working class. They're making all the claims all day long, and we can all sit back and let them do that, or we can stand up and say, no, look, we have people who are asking you to provide evidence, and you have nothing. And until you come up with something, sit down, stay out of our way. Let us do the jobs at hand. This government shutdown that's looming over us is going to affect millions of American people. And then they're going to stand up and they're going to talk about how they can't get ahead in this world, how they can't make it, how they're just working overtime all the time and they can't get ahead in this world. And meanwhile, they sit back and they root for politicians who have no evidence, no proof, does not believe in science. These people have nothing except they ride on their emotions. They have nothing except preying upon their emotions, getting them all riled up about something that's never really going to affect them or never really going to happen. I understand that it would have to be painful to be a Trump supporter and realize just how played you've got. And I realize that a lot of the videos we make on here that shows you the evidence and shows you the truth has to sting a little bit. Rather than trying to say, Joe Biden did it too, with no evidence, why don't you just accept the facts of the matter and let's all hold Donald Trump accountable? I keep hearing people say all the time about, oh, this country has to heal. This country has to come together. Well, I don't think we will ever heal and come together if we give Donald Trump a pass and we give Donald Trump a free ride. I think the first step for this country healing is for the other side, not us anymore. We've done that. We've done our job. The other side has to stand up and they have to hold Donald Trump accountable. And they have to make an example and say, look, when you lay your hand on the Bible and you raise your right hand and you swear to protect and to defend the Constitution, you have to, that means something in this country. That actually means something. We will hold you accountable for that oath that you make. Otherwise, if we don't hold him accountable, there's not going to be any healing. Because if you just keep throwing distractions at us and you just keep gaslighting and you just keep projecting, that's not going to heal anything. The way we heal is Donald Trump gets held accountable, and then on the other side, they go back to the drawing board. They sit down in a room, they get a round table discussion started, and they say, hey, how did we drop this ball? Any football team, any basketball team that loses a really hard fought game. They go back to the drawing board and they say, what was wrong? Was it our offense? Was it our defense? Was it our receivers? Was it our quarterback? What did it? What caused us to lose that game? So Republicans, go back, get in a room, get all around a table, go back to the drawing board, say, this is where we fucked up. We did it because we embraced this candidate that absolutely destroyed our party. And get back to what you used to argue about. We probably will still disagree with you. We're probably still not going to be voting on your side, but we would respect you a lot more if you came to the table with real evidence. If you came to the table with ideas that was backed up by data and research instead of some concocted conspiracy that someone came up with and you just know it will be good for ratings. That's what's getting so tiresome, and that's what we got to move past. Folks, I really appreciate you guys watching this video, and I hope you'll hit that subscribe button here on MeidasTouch. And as always, I'm Tennessee Brando. You guys keep tuning in. We'll keep telling you the truth.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.